Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cherima. Thanks for joining me tonight and thank you for being part of this channel. I'm back again with another interesting video today, and today we are going to learn about the duties of boys in the Kikuyu society or in the Kikuyu community. The last videos I covered the duties of a woman. That's where we began from. And then we went to the duties of a girl or young women. And now we are going to look at the duties of boys in the Kikuyu society. Well, when I speak about boys in Kikuyu society, we call them imwana. Imwana are boys. That's the plural form of boys. If it's one boy, we say kimwana or kamwana. If it's one, you can say kimwana or kamwana. The other name we use is kehe. Remember, kehe doesn't sound good, and most of the people do not accept the name kehe. Why? Because it's quite associated to be a form of rudeness, and I would not advise anyone to use the word kehe. However, kehe means a young boy or a boy who hasn't yet been circumcised. So you can either call boys kemwana or kamwana or imwana, or you can use kehe or ihe. That's when there are many, but I am very skeptical with this name kehe because it's totally interpreted differently from one individual to the other, and sometimes it can become very traumatizing. Anyway, let's go ahead. When I speak about boys, we're not going to cover boys or we're not going to cover young men as I did in the previous video, because for men and women there's quite a difference. Remember, boys, when they got circumcised, they were no longer called boys rather than men. So they entered in another phase of life where they reformed to be men, anake or moduri or aduri. So I'm going to only cover the duties of boys, not imwana or young men, only boys. Now, some of the duties are very similar to those of the of girls that were done in the Kikuyu community or in the Kikuyu society. So you will notice there are so many similarities. Now, without wasting much time, let's go ahead. The first duty, or the first thing that boys were supposed to do or were expected to do was obviously respect the parents or respect any member of the society. This I have repeated again and again. The same goes on from one gender to the other. So respecting the society, respecting the members of the society was and still remains to be rule number one, irrespective of anything. Respecting, obeying your parents, and even, respecting your elders. That's what I can simply put in a simple form. We already say respecting is kuhegeteo adwareagi. Kuhegeteo adwareagi, or kuhegeteo ashiari, respecting your parents or respecting parents. Adwareagi, other people, respecting other people. So this was rule number one. The other one was to help their parents, and this is generally helping their daddies or their fathers or their male counterparts. That was one major role of boys in the Kikuyu society. So they were there to help the men, to help their dads, their uncles, and any individual who was a man in the society or in the community or in the family. Woteithia, ashiari. Woteithia is to help. Ashiari are parents. Woteithia, ashiari. Now, or you can say woteithia arome areage, which means helping, which we said is woteithia arome, other men, arome men, areage, other men. Woteithia arome areage. Now, the next duty, or the next thing that boys were expected to perform was to to look after the cattle. We already mentioned that in the roles of girls in the Kikuyu community, and the same repeats itself. So we see that boys were there to help looking after the cattle, or looking after the goats, or generally just helping to look after the livestock in the society. So they helped, which we said koreivia bori, which is looking after goats. Koreivia ng'ombe, looking after cows. Koreivia mahiũ. Koreivia mahiũ is, mahiũ means livestock. That is the general term of all livestock found in the Kikuyu community, or in that village, or in their home. Koreivia mahiũ, koreivia mahiũ. Gũteithia koreivia mahiũ, or you can say gũteithĩrĩria koreivia mahiũ. That generally means the same thing. Gũteithia, helping. Gũteithia koreivia is looking after the cattle. Mahiũ, we said livestock. Now, the other thing was, and this definitely has not repeated itself, but it will come in the next lesson maybe, is going to hunt. They helped their dads or the other male counterparts as they went hunting. So they accompanied the male counterparts in the society, in the community, in the family, who went hunting, and the boys came along with them. So they helped in hunting. They helped in hunting. So that's something that most of the people back in the days used to perform, especially the men. That is one major activity that they did. They went hunting of meat. They went hunting of wild meat outside there. They just went to look for food for the family while they were inside the forest, or wherever they went hunting. They went to just look for food for the family, because that is one major role of a man in the society, or even in the Kikuyu community. So the boys came along the men as they went hunting. That's the other thing we see. Now, the other thing is the boys helped in the farm. They went together with their dads, as the dads or their father went to the plantations, or to the garden, or to the farm. they went together with them. So the boys, the boys generally helped in that what women could not do by themselves. We know very well that there are so many activities like digging of holes, cutting the trees, planting of coffee, planting of tea, all these heavy tasks that were not doable by women. This is what the men did. So the boys did help the men in doing or accomplishing those kind of duties, like cutting of trees, digging of holes. They even carried they went to manure the garden or the farm. This is what the men used to do. They also the boys, they also helped while the the others were planting. They helped in that, while the others, or the women or the girls, were harvesting. They also did help and they performed the same duties. The other thing is weeding. They also did the same. We learn this especially in our Kikuyu history, that most of the activities were communal. So that means if one activity was done, it was done by the whole community or a large number of people, or generally the whole family. So this is why we see, if the women were the one planting, they were joined by the girls, the men, and even the boys. So there are so many things that were not only done by one gender but all genders. So that's why we see people back in the days, they used to be together, like they were always in a family, in a team of members, in a team, and that's how they accomplished their things. That's how they did their activities. They came together with the neighbors, the surrounding, and they joined in together, and that's how they could accomplish their things, their duties, and other tasks or roles that were to be performed or expected by the community. So in terms of farming, this was an activity for every member of the family. So when it's time to harvest, everyone was in the garden. You perform, I perform. That's how it used to be. So the boys helped in planting, weeding, harvesting, and so many other things that were done in the farms. Remember, farming was the major activities, and that's where they used to get their daily bread. That's where they used to get their source of income, from farming. So everyone was and used to be involved in those farming activities. And I think I did experience these while I was growing up, because I remember there was that time we used to go to my grandmother's place. I think I already mentioned this already. And there was a season for coffee harvesting. So every member of the family, irrespective of who, well, every member of the family, if it's the day to pick coffee, everyone was in the farm, irrespectively of whoever or whatever. Everybody was expected to be in the farm and help in the harvesting of coffee. We know it's very tedious, and people back in the days didn't have the income to employ people or other laborers who would help in the farm. So this had to be done by the family. This is one of the things I experienced. The other thing was like, uh, for example, when we were harvesting sweet potatoes, we used to go, all of us. And remember, I was very young at that time, so I would join my aunties, my uncles, my grandmother, my grandfather, all neighborhood in the farm as we dug out or we harvested the sweet potatoes. And it was quite nice to have such an experience because, as I already said previously, I came from an urban place, an urban town. That's where I was born. So my grandmother was in the rural place. So as we went there for vacation, I had the opportunity to learn things that I would never learn while living in the urban town. So things like harvesting coffee, weeding, planting, putting fertilizer on the plants, putting manure on the plants, and many other things. I can't even count on them. Many things. And trust me, this teamwork was the best, because from there we learned how to tolerate each other. We learned how to assist and always motivate each other. This is where I learned most of my Kikuyu culture, because people would speak along while they were working on the farm. People would give stories, and there were moments of laughter, and it was amazing. However, how tedious it was also amazing. And this is one thing I wish this could still be happening in our 21st century, because most of the people I notice, they are not tolerant to their other counterparts, or they cannot tolerate other people. So this is why we have a problem of egoism in our society nowadays, because people always learn to be by themselves, just in that cocoon on their own. They don't want anyone around. They don't want to perform, or they don't like teamwork. So we see there's quite a disadvantage. But anyway, like I always say, time has changed, and we have to accept the changes. We can only learn and continue helping each other, trying to put our members together, hold us together always, and keep that teamwork and keep the fire burning. Now, yeah, I think I've mentioned quite a lot, and I think most of these things are just the same things that the men and the women did. And one thing I didn't mention is, for example, the other thing that boys used to do was like helping in milking the cows. That we already said was performed and done by girls and women. The other thing was cleaning of where the cattle were living, or where the livestock was sleeping. Their work was cleaning that place. Kuhata kyugo. Kuhata kyugo. That's how we say that. Cleaning where the livestock were sleeping, or the place where the cattle, the goats were sleeping. The other thing was also to look, or to go look for the feeds for the animals or the livestock, like the cows or the goats that were in the family. The boys helped in looking for the feeds. That is like, for example, napier grass, or other leaves with whatever that was available. So this was one among the activities of the boys in the Kikuyu society. How do we say that? It is said Gusharia Mahuti, Gusharia Mahuti, or you can say Wotua Dara, Wotua Dara. Gusharia Mahuti or Wotua Dara. Gusharia Mahuti means simply to look for feeds for the livestock, for the cows, the goats, and every kind of animal that was found in the community. Wotuadhara means to cut napier grass, or just to look for napier grass for the livestock in the society or in the community or in the family. This was one major activities of the boys in the community. The other thing was also milking the cows or even the goats. This was the other thing that the boys were expected to do. We already saw that in the previous video where the girls or the women were also doing the same. So it's almost like a reputation. So this is one thing that the boys also did, or they were expected to do, because not every day was were the girls or the women around to milk the cows. So that's why we see the boys also were involved in this. They helped in milking the cows, which we said is gukama. Gukama is milking cows, ng'ombe, bori, goats. The other thing was taking the milk to the dairy. Gutwara iria dairy. Gutwara iria dairy. That was the other thing that boys were expected to do, or the ihe or imwana in the family were expected to perform. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sacrificing your time wherever you are. I hope you are safe. I hope you are doing your hygiene measures as we continue fighting this coronavirus. I just want to wish you all a happy Easter wherever you are. May you take good care of yourselves, and until we meet next time, goodbye and good night.